Hello everyone, this is Nitya again. So today I wanted to talk about something really important. And I wanted to talk about why I see orgasm as one of the biggest obstacles for men who want to learn to manage their ejaculations and last longer. So guys who struggle with managing their ejaculations and that tend to ejaculate really soon, like to come really fast. So this is now lots of men. So it's estimated at least 30% of men, but probably a lot more men. Probably most men don't really have full control over their ejaculations and normally don't last much longer than the average 15 to 20 minutes, and many a lot less, like 5 minutes or less when they make love or when they masturbate. So what I want to talk about here, because I work with men, helping them through. I guide men through a 10-week program where they learn all the foundations and the anchors to help them to learn to master their ejaculations, and not only that, but also discover how to really own their own sexual energy and use their own sexual energy to empower themselves and to benefit them in regards to their health and their well-being and their confidence and their charisma and their stamina, and really discover how to create deep and meaningful lovemaking and intimacy with their partners. So on this journey we cover lots of different aspects, but there's one thing that I want to mention that I see as being probably the most biggest obstacle, and also the reason why so many of these men don't manage by themselves to learn how to master their ejaculations, because I'm talking about men here who have lived half their lives knowing that mastering their ejaculations is something tricky for them. Sorry, I got some lawn blower mower in the background here, if you hear the noise. So for these guys, to manage their ejaculations is something that they've been wanting to do for years or decades even, but somehow they haven't managed how to find out how to do that on their own. And there's different influences, there's different things that play into this, but I wanted to mention one thing that I see as really probably the biggest obstacle when it comes to learning this mastery of the ejaculations, and that is the focus on reaching orgasm. So what I mean with that is, in our culture we have very much made sex and lovemaking mean the journey towards orgasm, and orgasm is like the goal. And a lot of people, fight for the right to have orgasms and to have multiple orgasms, and nothing wrong with that. But when it comes to the men who struggle with managing their ejaculation, that come too early or earlier than they want to every single time they have sex, and let's say within a few minutes, which is way before the woman is usually even warmed up, and definitely not, yet satisfied sexually and fulfilled. Neither of the two, the men or the women, can become fulfilled and experience the deeper level of lovemaking within just a few minutes. So, what does the focus on orgasm have to do with this, and why is the focus on orgasm something that's really an obstacle on this path? So, let me explain. So, in our culture, we have this focus on orgasm, and sex and lovemaking has become like a race for a lot of people. This kind of path towards the goal, which is the orgasm or the climax for both the man and the woman. And men, they very much take on the responsibility to give the woman an orgasm, and they feel like they've not succeeded, or they've failed if they haven't managed to give the woman an orgasm. So that puts a lot of pressure on the men, and they're working usually very, very hard on trying to make the woman have an orgasm. And also for themselves, it's for the guys, that they might have masturbated since they were teenagers. It was usually always focused on reaching the orgasm or the ejaculation, and we have porn that also is really geared towards it's all about ejaculation and the coming and the orgasm. So this kind of thinking and this kind of approach to sex now, it really creates difficulties for the men who struggle to manage the ejaculations and to last longer, because it kind of makes sense, if you look at it like this, that so on one hand these guys are working really hard on getting their partner to have an orgasm. So they're working really hard on that, through foreplay, but also through, the love making, the penetration itself. They're really working towards and trying to get the woman to have an orgasm. At the same time, they're trying to hold back their own orgasm. So it's like two opposing things going on here. So for the man who hasn't cracked the code, or let's say he hasn't had the information, he hasn't had the right information to learn how to last longer, this becomes like an impossible mission. And so try and make the woman have an orgasm while holding back his own ejaculation and orgasm. It's not working out for most of these guys, and they kind of end up seeing themselves as failures and resigned to a life of being the guy who, the kind of PE guy, which is really, really tragic, especially when it's really not needed to be like that. And all men can learn how to manage their ejaculations much better than they are. But the one thing that needs to happen first of all, and that are really, it's a big part of the work that I do with men. Like I said, again, it's not the whole picture, but it is a very important picture. So my advice here today would be for all the men out there, and for the women who are listening in as well, it's important to be aware of this. As long as you're focusing on orgasm and the goal of reaching an orgasm, that is not going to work for the man who is trying to learn to manage his ejaculation. So what we need to do first of all is to take the orgasm or the climax completely out of the picture. So if we're taking that completely out of the picture, it's like we are not, the goal of lovemaking is not the orgasm anymore. So what is it then? Well, the way I help my men to discover this journey is to really come back to the present moment, and to make love for the sake of making love, and for the sake of being together in each moment, and for the sake of feeling and opening up to sensations and experiences and pleasure in each moment. So in the beginning, that might seem for a lot of men like, well, if you take the orgasm out, what's the fun then, kind of thing, because we've programmed and trained ourselves to see the orgasm as the one and only thing. And in that process, we actually have desensitized ourselves. We become a bit numb. So when we're taking the orgasm out of the picture, initially it might seem like kind of taking the lollipop away from the kid or something like that. But in reality, what we're doing, it's not like we're taking orgasm away forever. But we're taking the peak orgasm out of the picture, because that focus is not helping. In fact, it is preventing and making it near impossible for men who want to learn to last longer to actually succeed. So my advice is, take the orgasm out of the picture and start to make love for the sake of making love. And that, for men who really have struggled with really early ejaculation, that might mean very, very slow and almost still lovemaking. So to be together and to be together in penetration and penetrative sex, but almost without moving, and not rushing anywhere, not heading towards that orgasm, that peak, that goal, completely changes the energy and the vibe, and makes it possible for the man to begin to learn how to hold larger amounts of sexual energy in his body without the need to tip over and spill his seed involuntarily. So this doesn't mean that we're giving up on orgasm. In fact, what we're doing by giving up, or taking away the focus from the peak orgasm, is we actually opening up our body to our multi-orgasmic potential and our orgasmicness. Because while we have focused on the peak and reaching the peak, we have forgotten and lost our awareness and our ability to perceive sensitivity in the moment. But we haven't lost it permanently, luckily. This is very possible to begin to open up very quickly again. And that happens when we let go of that focus of the peak orgasm and come back to the present moment and begin to be together and connect and make love in a present way. And by just being aware of what we're experiencing, our feelings and our sensations, and really, really, really slowing down our lovemaking to be together in a way where there's timelessness, where there's no goal, not rushing anywhere. So that's my message for you today. If you want to get in touch with me, just send me a private message. Thank you so much for listening in, and also feel free to comment below. Thank you very much. Okay, I'll talk to you later. Bye bye.